Now, you may recognise our next guest by his voice, as it has so far helped calm the anxiety of more than 40 million people all over the world.
Andy Puddicombe is a former university student who's turned the art of meditation into a global empire. He joins us now. It's lovely to have you.
So nice to
Thank you.
And we'll all be waiting now for when you answer this first question. And there's the voice we know so well. So you're in your early 20s, midway through a sports science degree.
Yeah.
What happened?
So I think that a few things happened. So I think, one, I became increasingly aware of how busy my mind was, increasingly aware of how overwhelmed I was by emotions. And I happened to be going out with a girl at the time who was really into Buddhism, and she kept talking to me about sort of Buddhist monks and nuns and this amazing kind of world that you could live. And increasingly I felt that actually the happiness I was looking for I wasn't going to find in a book, and I definitely wasn't going to find it in studying sports science. So I decided to be a Buddhist monk instead.
And then how then do you get from that to the app?
Yeah, so we have to fast forward quite a few years. So sort of 10
How long
years.
were you a Buddhist monk for?
So I spent 10 years away. I was a layperson, then trained as a novice monk, then as a fully ordained monk. And then I came back to England and I started working in the clinic doing sort of just one-to-one stuff.
Yeah.
And I met my co-founder, Rich Pearson, and he suggested to me, he said, hey, look, why don't... This is crazy, just one person to one person. He said, this is so much bigger. We should do something. I didn't really know what apps were. I'd only just got my first mobile phone.
Right.
And so it didn't make sense at first. We did events for a few years. And then about seven years ago, we launched our first version of the app.
And the thing is, meditation, I think a lot of us find it so tricky because we find it just so hard to switch our minds off. And so if you're left to your own devices and you sort of think, right, I've got a few minutes to be silent here, you end up thinking of doing lists and things you've got to do, which is why kind of guided meditation is so useful.
I think it's massive. For me, it's like getting into a car. You know, if you've never driven a car before, you probably want somebody sat by your side, kind of giving you a little bit of advice, talking you through it. Same thing, like, it sounds so easy just to sit still and be quiet. But in a world where we are constantly distracted and overloaded, it's so difficult. Yeah. So to have someone there to help, I think, can be...
Well, using your... it's an interesting, you know, sort of dichotomy, really, using your phone technology to meditate with.
It is. But it's interesting because a lot of people say the phone is really it's really stressful and it really stresses me out. I would suggest that the phone itself is not stressful because it's just a piece of metal, right? So it's our relationship we have with the phone and the behaviours we have with the phone. I think a lot of us have developed very unhealthy behaviours with it. So we don't like the relationship we have with it, so we say the phone is stressful. But I see it in a slightly different way, actually. It's just a platform, and we can use it for good, we can use it for bad, and I think this is one example of how we can use it in a really healthy way.
And what about for people that say, do you know what, I just don't have time in my life to sit there and not think about anything for a while?
So I think, look, there's perhaps a preconception that you have to take out lots of time in order to meditate. You can do it in as little as sort of 3, 5, 10 minutes a day. And most of the science now suggests as well it's more about sort of frequency rather than duration. And I think if we can't find 3 minutes in our day, we probably might want to reevaluate how we're living our life.
So is that what it takes? That's the minimum?
You could do it in as little as 3 minutes a day.
Right.
I would suggest that you build up to 10 minutes. I think 10 minutes is where you really start to see some kind of traction and some movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so what have people said to you? What sort of reaction have you had? Because, as I mentioned, this is... Where else, other than an app, where else, using technology that we have now, I'm very lucky that you're around at this time.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Especially when the world's mind seemed to be coming apart.
Getting blown.
What reaction do people say to have?
So I think it's actually an incredibly humbling thing to be part of, because people are... It's a very intimate relationship. They're sitting down with some of the most difficult, challenging times in their life and listening to this meditation. So when I meet people in airports and restaurants, they're coming up and sharing stories that they would normally only share with people really, really close to them. And it's really nice to have people coming up and give me a hug and kind of say, you know, thank you so much, like, doing this together. So I feel very, very fortunate to be a part of it.
Right.
Okay.
Well, then let's see. If you haven't seen the app and you haven't taken part in any meditation, here we go.
Yeah, Andy's about to give us a taster session of some guided meditation, and we would love for you to follow along at home.
Also joining us for a few moments of mindfulness are the pupils of Castlehead School in Renfrewshire in Scotland. Hi.
We're also joined by the staff at Queen Elizabeth Hospital in Norfolk. There they are. Good morning to you.
Hi to you. And as the stress of Brexit Brexit continues, we are joined live now from Portcullis House by a selection of MPs and peers. So welcome all of you. I should imagine they're thrilled to have something else to think about.
Absolutely.
Over to you.
Absolutely. So, look, before we begin, just one very quick tip, really important. Most people think meditation is about clearing the mind and stopping thoughts. It's really not. And if you set out with that idea, it's just a really frustrating exercise. So know that it's normal for thoughts to continue. This is more about allowing thoughts to come and go. And when you realise you're getting distracted, we're going to bring our attention back to the breath again.
Okay.
So that's the most important thing to remember. It's not about stopping thoughts. Okay? So make yourself comfortable at home as well. I'm going to suggest that you start off actually, rather than by closing the eyes straight away, start off with the eyes open. And try, if you can, just to take in the space around you. And just maintaining that sort of really soft focus. Just take a couple of big, deep breaths, breathing in through the nose and out through the mouth. And as you breathe in, just a sense of the lungs filling with air. As you breathe out, just a sense of the body sort of softening and relaxing. And with the next out breath, just gently closing the eyes. So as you close the eyes, the first thing I'd like you to do is just to enjoy that feeling of having nothing to do, nowhere to go, not being distracted, just being still. Feeling the weight of the body against the seat beneath you, soles of the feet on the floor, and the hands and the arms just resting on the legs. And as you become more aware of the body, just starting to notice how the body breathes, that rising and falling sensation. If you can't feel that movement in the body, just gently placing your hand on your stomach. And we're just going to stay with that sensation just for the next 30 seconds. Again, natural for thoughts to come and go. If at any moment you realise the mind's wandered off, just gently coming back again to that rising and falling sensation. And then just very gently, just starting to bring the attention back into the body. Just coming back to that feeling of contact and weight against the seat beneath you. The soles of the feet on the floor, the hands on the legs. And then when you're ready, just gently opening the eyes again.
Oh, I didn't want to open my eyes there. I wanted to just stay.
Thank you
So nice,
to
thank
everyone
you.
for taking part.
Yeah,
Maybe you were
thank you.
seeing
How
pictures
do you feel now?
of there. Hopefully you're very
Let us
nice and
know.
relaxed. Oh, there you go.
If you've just done that with us at home, let us know how you felt, because it's quite remarkable, isn't it? Just for that short time there, it just makes everything slow.
It's amazing to think. For me, the amazing thing is we spend so much of our life looking after other aspects of our well-being, and we don't really kind of take time to look after our mind, which ultimately dictates our entire experience of life.
Well, I'm
you. I
an
love
absolute
that.
convert. You've sent your voice has sent me to sleep many times. Very, very calm and very
Weird
relaxed.
hearing your voice here at work and not when I'm at home.
Yeah.
It's really strange.
Yeah.
But thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Lovely.
Headspace is the app, and it's a pleasure to see.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
so much.
Thanks.